Hey everybody, Icy Cat here. We now know what the Mission Outbreak zombies are going to be looking like. Plus, on the way, Mission Outbreak will have new Outbreak-specific type alpha packs, and what that kind of content will be. Real quick, I want to talk about my sponsor for this video, Moot.us. Moot is a really cool platform for gamers that puts all sorts of resources in one space. It has boards for a lot of games like Overwatch, Destiny, PUBG, and of course Rainbow Six. Plus, they're adding even more games all the time. There's lots of ways to use Moot. There's a place for general discussion, a place for highlights where you can find news and info. There's even an art section where people can submit game-related artwork and share them with the community, and a tip section where people can improve their game or work on strats. It's more than that, though. There's also a leveling system that lets you get rewarded for sharing, voting on, and contributing to the community discussion. Check out Moot.us for more info on either PC or mobile and get involved with your favorite games in a new way. So this was just posted today by Rainbow Six on all of their official outlets. As we already know, it says Outbreak is a 4-week event where all Rainbow Six owners will be able to team up with 2 of their friends to take on a mysterious threat. This free event will begin with the launch of the Year 3 Season 1 title update, which is expected to take place immediately following the Rainbow Six Invitationals that will be taking place in Montreal at the end of February. They say within the duration of the 4-week event, an exclusive collection of cutting-edge hazmat cosmetics will be available. This gear will be found in the Outbreak packs, and you can see in the picture here we have an image of what one of those packs look like. They go on to say, in line with our promise to you from the beginning, the Outbreak packs will not provide you with any gameplay elements and will contain cosmetic items only. The Outbreak collection is composed of a total of 50 unique items with no duplicates. What this means is, if you acquire 50 Outbreak packs, we guarantee you will have the entire collection, including the Elite uniform. They will contain universal weapon skins, unique weapon skins, headgear, uniforms, charms, as well as an Outbreak collection exclusive of this season's Elite uniform. While there is a unique variation of the Elite uniform available in the Outbreak packs, the standard version of this Elite uniform will be available for direct purchase once the event has started. All items in the pack will be either rare, epic, or legendary, and there will not be any content overlap between the Outbreak packs and the Alpha packs. They say the Outbreak packs can only be acquired for 300 Rainbow credits each. So the Outbreak packs themselves will not be something that you can earn through gameplay like you can the Alpha packs. You can only buy them for the Rainbow credits. Unfortunately, the problem that I have with that is that you never really know what it is that you'll be getting. You could be spending that money and getting something that's a charm that maybe you don't want, and it's sort of a blind purchase. That's why I don't mind the Alpha packs during gameplay, because you just earn them while you play anyway, so they're kind of like, free items, but in this case, you're going to be spending actual money and not knowing what you're going to be getting. They go on to clarify, though, that there will be a few other Outbreak rewards that will be available through gameplay. So this is separate than the Outbreak packs, and those will be awarded based on other criteria that they're going to talk about later. They do say that all players that log in during the Outbreak event will receive 4 Outbreak packs immediately. For those that are new to the game and purchased the Advanced Edition of the game before or during the Outbreak event, you will receive the 10 packs that are included in the Advanced Edition, plus the 4 for logging in during the event. The Outbreak collection will contain cosmetic gear for the following operators: 2 of the Chimera operators, Smoke, Ying, Buck, Capcan, Hibana, Zofia, Fuse, Ash, Doc, Thermite, Tachanka, and Glaz. Now, all of this comes on the heels of what was revealed yesterday for the Mission Outbreak Dead Drop file unlock. Let's take a look at what all went into that, as well as what the new zombies actually wind up looking like. So yesterday, the 3rd Easter egg hunt for the Mission Outbreak Dead Drop was finally unlocked. So scattered around Cafe Dostoevsky in a lot of spaces are these hidden notes that have these codes written on them. And they're all kind of arranged in various ways, and there's some marks on the edges of the paper that people could use to line them up in a certain order so they would know the correct order that these went into. And just to give a real general breakdown on the way this goes, is that essentially you assemble these in a certain order, and then you get a code that breaks down once they figure it out, and it comes out to spell Game Guide. Some of the letters are substituted for numbers, but when you look at it, you can kind of make sense of what it's trying to say, Game Guide. So then people were trying to figure out, well, what does that mean? And before I go any further on this, I do want to acknowledge that these Easter egg hunts are something that the entire community contributes to. There are literally thousands of people that contribute to this. It's taking place on the official forums, on the subreddit, on the Rainbow Six Discord, on Twitter, on Facebook. I mean, there's just thousands of people contributing to figuring out these clues. And somebody was able to figure out that there are game guides built onto the official website. These were actually introductory game guides, and you can see here, the top of the page, we have a number 1. This is the first part of it. It's a 4-part game guide. And they were able to figure out that basically the way this worked is that the first digit of the note belongs to a page on the guide, page 1 through 4. The second digit would be like a row, and then the last digit could be a character or number within that row. And there were other variations of ideas on this, and eventually they wound up putting together this code. I'm going to have it on the screen here, and I'll put it below in the notes underneath the video player. And if you just want to copy and paste that into the rainbowleaks.org website, you can go ahead and do that. This will then unlock file number 3. Currently, credit seems to be going to Hades number 2165 on the Rainbow Six Discord for unlocking and figuring out this final password piece. So props to him, and once again, all of the hundreds and even thousands of people that have contributed toward figuring out the clues. And here we go. This is file number 3. It reads, "We were supposed to rendezvous with our supporters among the Russian hacking community for a tete-a-tete, but our flight got delayed. By the time we reached Cafe Dostoevsky, everything had gone sideways. They're saying terrorism, but I'm saying cover-up, and that tells me we're closer to the truth than ever. Unfortunately, this means our channels are in danger of getting compromised. I'll be scrubbing our sites and clearing all of our dead drops. We'll have to go to ground for a while. This is our last drop at this location. Let me be absolutely clear. They've cordoned off Truth or Consequences, and there's reports of gunfire and explosions. That means the citizens of TRC know the truth, and we owe it to them to spill the beans on what's happening. I stand with Truth or Consequences, and we will learn their story." Now, just like the previous dead drops, we do have a series of few images, but a new addition is present here in an audio file. It's about 1.5 minutes long, and I'll actually play that for you after we take a look at the pictures. This first one is super interesting. We get a look at what might be the actual life cycle of the zombie life forms. We can see some kind of a briefcase here, and then we have 2 images that give us some close looks. Let's zoom in and take a look at some of these. So this first one here seems to show a progression. We can see at the bottom here it says parasite infecting human, and then early infection stage going on to a further infection stage. Looking at the graphic image, we can kind of piece together a way that some of this works. It looks like there's like these spiky, maybe crystalline kind of growths, and that when these wind up coming in contact with organic material, perhaps by puncturing or injecting them, we're not really sure, they then transform into this next stage, which is a humanoid that seems to be having some kind of spiky growth coming out of it itself. That infected person then seems to become more agile, seems to be maybe getting stronger, developing more and more of that growth tissue, and then it seems to culminate again into possibly turning into just that same kind of biomass material, that same sort of spiky crystalline kind of substance, which then spreads further. And you can see in the picture that it does kind of like secrete down into the ground, like it's growing downward and spreading through, almost like it's maybe possibly even trying to terraform or something like that. Now, if we do remember the original 4chan leak that talked about all of this information before it was ever even revealed, it did call it a zombies/aliens mode. And this does kind of seem to fit that bill. This could perhaps be some kind of, like maybe there was an alien meteorite that crashed that's creating this sort of parasitic infection that winds up turning people into like these sort of zombies, but they would have like more of an alien origin, and they wouldn't be like traditional zombies as maybe we might think of them. Taking a look at the close-up of the other side of this image, we see this piece of paper sticking out here. We can see at the top there it says found in zone, and that other word that's sort of cut off, I think that might be possibly quarantine. So that might be found in quarantine zone. And again, we're seeing a few different life cycles of creatures here. So I think when we play this mode, we're not going to necessarily be playing against like one static type of creature. It looks like there will be a variety of creatures. The first one there that you can just sort of see maybe a head sticking out with an arm or two right on the edge of the line of the shadow there. That looks to be something that is standing up more humanoid and possibly moving a little bit more slowly just based on the position of the limbs. The next one appears to be a creature that is down on all fours and has a spiky growth coming out of its back. That could either be a person that's down on all fours and has maybe become adapted to, running in sort of that bipedal fashion, or maybe they can run along walls or ceilings or something like that. Or possibly that could even be, maybe it's actually like a dog, that's what a dog looks like when it's been infected or something. Although the head and feet do seem pretty human. Then the next stage is just this weird looking thing. It's got like these its arms are almost like scythes or blades. Its hips are distorted in almost what could be like some kind of a bird-like fashion. These features seem to indicate this could possibly be a kind of creature that might be able to run quickly with rapid slashing attacks. Again, I'm only judging on the concept image that we see here. And then the final image is kind of confusing. I'm not exactly sure what I'm looking at here. But based on the images from the other one, that we can see that it almost seems like once the life cycle is completed, that it then becomes its own form of biomass. This could probably be one of the end stages where this is like a slower moving kind of a creature. Maybe this is actually solidifying into a biomass. Maybe it can't even move at all other than maybe reaching out, or maybe it's like fixed to the ground at this point. It's really hard to say exactly what that is, but it appears to be some kind of late stage development in the parasitic life cycle. Now, the second photo also holds a couple of images within it. We can see we've got all kinds of paper laid out across the table with various documents and images, and the two prominent images are what we're going to take a look at here. So this first one shows, again, we've got that biomass growth, like these spiky crystalline structures that just seem to be protruding out of the floor and, growing along the ceiling here. And then we have this like brute of a creature here in the main image. Then at the bottom of the screen, we have this other image. It's sort of cut off, but again, we can see this looks like more of a traditional humanoid structure. It's not like overly grown and overly bulky, but you can see these shards coming out of its shoulders and its arms here. So we've got a couple of different images of various types of creatures that it seems likely we'll be encountering in this mode. Further referencing this, in the third image, we have what appears to be like some kind of medical dossier and some other documents that have been dropped on the ground and then run over in their haste to escape. So we can see the first one has some kind of a medical x-ray on it, and it looks like the growth has begun on this patient's arm. It's listed here as first symptom, and then in the second image we have what's listed as brain control. So here the growth has gone along the entire length of the arm and it has infected the host's brain, at that point taking control of the victim's actions, and we can see that the protruding spike growths are larger at this stage. So this one has even like more growth coming out of it. Now it's all along the rest of the body, very nearly consuming it. And then we have what looks to be probably, again, that end stage growth where now it's so consumed with the tissue coming out of it that it's beginning to take on its own biomass. And it seems to be almost fusing with the ground at that point, spreading itself into the area, possibly terraforming it, or just spreading the parasitic infection even further so that those spikes can continue to infect other people. The next image we have is an eyewitness civilian account. This talks about people that are in the quarantine zone under military escort. They're trying to get away. They have an encounter and they don't really know what they saw. And it's just sort of this account of what they had experienced. I'm not going to read it for you here in full detail, but if you want to go over to the rainbowleaks.org website and check it out for yourself, you certainly can. And then the final image is this communication between two people. We saw that this same kind of it's almost like a text message exchange was present in the other dead drops as well. So it started out very innocently, just between people wondering what was going on. And by this third dead drop, it has now gotten to the point where these people are very clearly in harm's way. One interesting thing here that can be taken away is it says, we wanted to know what the ultimate purpose of this pathogen was. It's to break quarantine, and it's changing us to do it. He says you can't treat a wildfire. You can only contain it until it starves itself to death. Then he says, tell them to bomb this place. That's your cure. Now, we do also have that audio file, so let's take a listen to that and see what it says.
Alicia, it's Kevin. I don't know how or if this will make its way to you, but if you're listening to this, I'm hoping the worst thing that happened to you today is that they got your venti cap wrong again. If that's the worst thing about your day, that means this whole mess got contained. It means the people I care about are still alive. It means that they've stopped this thing. It's been 2 days since I snuck into the quarantine zone. I can't call out. I think the army jamming cell phone reception. That's why I'm recording this. The last will and testament for an entire town. Truth or consequences? I can't even... It's dead, Alicia, and nobody knows the half of it. This outbreak, this infection, it's like nothing I've ever seen. It makes monsters from us. It infects you, and then you're a monster killing your friends, killing anyone you ever loved. That's why there are gunshots and drone strikes out here. That's why the quarantine tent is inside the infection zone. They can't let this thing get out, ever. Even if that means me and everything here gets flattened, I'm fine with that. I don't think there's anyone left to complain. I'm a small price to pay, Alicia. If that means you and everyone else are safe and happy.
Okay, so there you go. That is all of the information we have in this dead drop. We now know what like the zombie/alien creatures are going to be looking like. These are concept images, so they may not necessarily be the finalized versions of what we'll see in the game, but it's a good representation for where it's going at the very least. We're going to be having some kind of humanoid creatures in various stages of development, and they're going to be having these spiky growths protruding all over their body. Some of them seem to be geared more towards strength, and others more towards speed and vicious attacks, while others seem to just be maybe early stages, maybe slower moving. Regardless of the enemy type, we are going to be having a very clearly different and unique experience in Rainbow Six Siege that we've never seen anything like before. We do know that Operation Chimera along with Mission Outbreak will be revealed in more detail during the Rainbow Six Invitational Finals. That will be coming up at the end of February. Of course, that is the big live stream event that will be taking place in Montreal. And during that time, we will be getting a closer look at what all of this really breaks down to. So really, that's less than a month away, and we'll probably be getting some leaks between now and then. It seems that we usually do before that happens. So there's going to be a ton of new information regarding this coming up very soon. And if you want to make sure that you are up to date with all of that, then do please like and subscribe. Also, make sure you click that notification icon so you're alerted as soon as I upload new content. You can also follow me over at IcyCat25 on either Facebook or Twitter. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.